All Renegades of Puck to the trenches. Welcome to Renegades of Puck TV. Welcome to the essence of no half-stepping. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier coming to you from the bunker, and I have incredibly important news and a huge announcement for each and every one of the Renegades of Puck. The home base freakout is go for launch. That's right. Just this afternoon, we agreed in a partnership with Tailgate Brewery to present to you the greatest hockey house party ever thrown. The night before the Stadium Series on February the 25th, starting at 7 o'clock at the Demundrian Street location of the Tailgate Brewery, you can find the Renegades of Puck and numerous special guests. We'll be doing giveaways and having a great time. It is going to be one epic night at Tailgate Brewery. Again, that is the night before the Stadium Series. We are welcoming all Renegades. This is going to be an opportunity for each and every one of us to defend home turf and to have a good time at the greatest tailgate ever thrown. The night before the Stadium Series at Tailgate Brewery, join Showtime Eric Young and myself and a bunch of our friends as we throw the greatest tailgate in history. As a matter of fact, let me let Showtime Eric Young tell you all about it right now.
Hey world, this is Eric Young, and if I got an announcement for you, February 25th, live from Nashville, Tennessee, and Tailgate Brewery, the hometown freakout. We did it in Dallas, now we're doing it again. Preds fans, Lightning fans, hockey fans, and everyone in between. You're invited to kick it off with us on February 25th. That's Friday night, right here at Tailgate Brewery, Nashville, Tennessee. Let's get crazy.
Thanks so much, EY. Cannot wait to see you and every one of the Renegades of Puck out there at Tailgate Brewery, 1538 Demundrian Street. All ages. You'll have to show an ID at the door to get in, but everyone is welcome. There will be no cover charge again. We will be releasing details and information about this event. It is going to be the biggest event in Renegades of Puck history. For those of you who are with us on the front lines in Dallas for the Cotton Bowl at the Winter Classic, this, I promise you, will be much bigger than that event. Now, let's get into the show because we'll have plenty of time to talk about everything involving the home base freakout. Please go to renegadesofpuck.com, and right there you can find out everything you need to know about the Renegades of Puck. Especially when you click on that merchandise link, you can find the link there to our classic logo t-shirt. You can also find our Pride logo t-shirt and a bunch of other gimmicks. We've sold out so that you can buy in. If it's socks, throw pillows, bed sets, wall art, it doesn't matter. The Renegades of Puck are looking to make a little bit of money, and that's the reason we have every one of these items in our store. Almost 50 different items for purchase for you there in the Renegades of Puck store. So just go to renegadesofpuck.com and you'll find out all of that information. Social media, it is going to become even more important than it has been over the last few months to help us out now. Spread the word about the home base freakout. We are depending on each and every one of you to spread this through word of mouth to help us get as many Renegades in one place as there has ever been assembled the night before the Stadium Series. Social media is how we're going to do a lot of that work. Give us a subscription on YouTube. Find us on Facebook and give us a like also. Give us a like on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. And remember, you can even find us on SoundCloud, a total audio version of the show in podcast form, as you may remember it as it used to exist at one time on the radio. We'd also appreciate if you'd become a partner of the show by going to Venmo, scan the QR code that's right there on your screen, or just search Renegades of Puck. Any donation helps, and as you can see, we've been putting all of those donations back into the bunker right here as we have elevated everything that's going on. We're going to be adding a second microphone soon, and hopefully we will be having our first in-bunker guest coming up here shortly. So that's how you can become a partner of the show. Now listen, you're here for the no half-step in hockey coverage, so let's get into it. The Nashville Predators find themselves in first place after 38 games played, 24 wins, 12 losses, 2 overtime losses. That's good for 50 points. They're the only team in the Central Division that's eclipsed the 50-point mark to this point. They are 1 point ahead of the St. Louis Blues. They are 3 points ahead of the Colorado Avalanche, 6 points ahead of Minnesota. Then you'll find Winnipeg, Dallas, Chicago, and Arizona rounding out the bottom of the Central Division. The Nashville Predators, after a brief 2-game homestand with mixed results, now head out back on the road road, where they are 13-6-2 and have played an awful lot of hockey this season. The Nashville Predators' next opponent is the Boston Bruins. Now, the Nashville Predators have already played the Bruins this season once, so this will be the second and final meeting of the regular season between these two clubs. It was the Bruins defeating the Nashville Predators 2-0 back on December the 2nd in Nashville Bridgestone Arena. Swayman got the shutout for the Boston Bruins with 42 saves. UC Saros took the loss in 31 out of 33, and you saw DeBrusk and Carlo scoring the goals for the Boston Bruins. Now, not everything's been perfect for the Boston Bruins, but you know this is the Big Bad Bees, and they're always going to be a very difficult opponent for the Nashville Predators to play against. Overall, they're 21-11-2, and they have 44 points. That's respectable, but that finds them fourth in the Atlantic Division. On home ice, a record of 11-6-1, and they are plus 20 in the goal differential category. The Nashville Predators are plus 15 in the goal differential category. In the most recent action for the Boston Bruins, let's just go back and take a look at a sample size of 5 games. They've won 4 in a row. As a matter of fact, let's go back and look. On the 8th of January, it was a 5-2 win at Tampa Bay. On the 10th of January, it was a 7-3 win at Washington. Then it was a 5-1 win versus Montreal. And most recently, it was a 3-2 win versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, NHL ranks, you're going to find some impressive metrics across the board for the Boston Bruins, but they're a lot closer in scoring than you might think between the Nashville Predators and the Boston Bruins. The Bruins are 13th in goals for 3.12, while the Preds find themselves at 14th at 3.08. The Bruins are 4th best in the NHL in goals against at 2.53, while the Preds find themselves at 9th. Shots against, Boston is 2nd best overall in the league with 35.8 generated on net per game, 4th best in shots against per game. They have the 9th best power play, converting 24 times on 104 opportunities for 23.1%, and their penalty kill is also a top 10 metric, rating 7th for the Nashville Predators. They also have top 10 special teams units, 4th on the power play, converting 31 times this season on 115 opportunities. And the penalty kill is 9th best in the NHL, giving up 23 power play goals against. Shots for, now the Nashville Predators have not been great in this category all season long. And remember, it is about quality, not quantity, but you also do want to see a number of shots making their way through the net. The Preds are currently ranked 23rd overall in the league. Now, once the Nashville Predators wrap up this afternoon start in Boston against the Bruins, it will be an incredibly tough Central Division matchup with first place on the line against the current 2nd place St. Louis Blues. Then the Nashville Predators come on back home and face off against the Vancouver Canucks on Tuesday, and on the 20th, they'll face off against the Winnipeg Jets, and they'll round out the 3-game homestand against the Detroit Red Wings, heading out to Seattle on the 25th of January for their first ever visit to take on the Kraken in their home arena. Now, the COVID list has been troublesome for the Nashville Predators as of late. Forsberg, we're still not sure if he's going to be back in the lineup for this game, but we do know he's getting very close to being back in the lineup. Trennan also still on that list. And we also have another note, and this one positive. All-Star announcements have been made. UC Saros has been named to the All-Star team, and of course, he should be. His numbers are simply incredible. He has 20 victories, 10 losses, and 1 overtime loss, a .927 save percentage, and a 2.30 goals against average. And we've all seen what he has done since the calendar has flipped to the new year, racking up Player of the Week awards, racking up other potential nominations coming up in the future. UC Saros, no doubt that he is an All-Star. Now, the big surprise was that Roman Josi was not nominated to the All-Star team, but because the NHL is full of unnecessary gimmicks, he will find himself in the last player potentially voted in, and there's no doubt that Roman Josi, who leads the Nashville Predators in scoring and is ahead of his Norris Trophy winning season in virtually all of his statistics. Well, Roman Josi right now, 12 goals, 26 assists for 38 points left off the All-Star team. That is questionable, but the NHL probably just wanted to use his handsome damn face on the graphic for all of the last skater voted in gimmick type things. So that gets you all set up for the Nashville Predators and the Boston Bruins. It is going to be a big time tilt in Boston with an afternoon start. Now listen, the Boston Bruins have been able to push the Nashville Predators around for several years. We've all seen it. The Nashville Predators had plenty of undersized forwards, and they did not have a whole lot of grit and sandpaper. Now, the Nashville Predators roster that has been constructed this year and has been finding its success, especially as of late, is built of a whole different category of toughness. This Nashville Predators and Boston Bruins game could be one hell of an exciting game. Very much looking forward to seeing this one. Good Saturday afternoon start, and the Nashville Predators, a first-place team, going into Boston, a very tough rink to play in, and looking for another measuring stick type game. I sure hope it's a lot better than what we just saw in Buffalo. It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. You give me 10 minutes, I'll give you the game. You give the Renegades of Puck an additional 10 minutes, and we'll give you all the information, analysis, and opinion to keep you all caught up with everything happening around the world of the Nashville Predators and the National Hockey League. Let me tell you about Rebirth Sports before we get started. You can find Rebirth Sports on social media, Facebook and Twitter, or just go to rebirthsports.com. They don't just make jerseys. They take visions and bring them to life. The jersey you see right here in front of you has been distributed by Renegade couriers across the hockey landscape for the previous several days. No doubt you have seen those posts on your Twitter feed and on Facebook and on Instagram. Rebirth Sports is making everything possible when it comes to this jersey giveaway campaign. And coming up the Home Base Freakout, because of Rebirth Sports and their incredible partnership, we will have jerseys to give away to you completely for free. All you have to do is be in attendance that night, and you'll have your opportunity to walk out the door with a Renegades of Puck home jersey or a Renegades of Puck road jersey. So make sure you check out Rebirth Sports. They are such great partners, and we are so appreciative of everything that they have done. They are a great company. They are great people, and we are proud to represent them, and even more proud that they represent the Renegades of Puck. That's Rebirth Sports. Now let's get into the recap and go all the way back to January 13th of the year 2022 when the Nashville Predators faced off against the Buffalo Sabres for the first of two meetings on the season. We see Cousins, Johansson, and Cunningham as your first line, Tolvin and Granlund and Duchesne your second line, Luff, Sissons, and Janot, Smith, McCarron, and Tomasino, Yossi and Fabro your first D pair, Ekholm, Benning, Carrier, and Myers, and UC Saros gets the start in net. We're just 106 into the first period, and UC Saros has to come up with a save on Eakin. It's the first shot of the game against for the Buffalo Sabres. 5:30 of the first period. Saros turns over the puck, and a long shot goes off of Saros, then off of Benning, and into the net. Goal awarded to Jankowski, his first goal, giving the Buffalo Sabres a 1-0 lead. The Nashville Predators at this point in the game, I noted, are simply flat and uncommitted to the jam in this first period. The teams go up, the teams go down. Sometimes they shoot the puck, sometimes it's even on the net, but nothing really seems to be going on in this game for the Nashville Predators. 15:39 of the first period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Skinner at close range at 15:44. Skinner's off to the box, 2 minutes for tripping. The power play just not off to a good start. The first unit just looked sloppy, choppy, and turned the puck over numerous times. We would find McCarron get a jam attempt near the end of the first period after Cole Smith was hard on the forecheck. It was the only sign of life for the Preds in the first period. Unfortunately, it came a little too late. Buffalo outshoots the Preds at the end of the first period by 11-9. Now, 42 seconds into the second period, we see Colton Sissons score a goal on a delayed penalty call. Sissons scores from the high slot, but unfortunately for the Nashville Predators, this puck is challenged for offsides. The goal is overturned as there was clear evidence that this play was offsides. We take that goal off the board. We do award the penalty that was on delay. So Skinner is now off to the box, 2 minutes for hooking. Dell comes up with a huge save on Tomasino as the power play expires. Buffalo escapes the exchange without giving up a goal and getting a challenge awarded to them. The Preds are getting more physical and the forecheck is working, but the offense cannot connect two consecutive passes together seemingly anywhere on the ice. 9:44 of the second period. Benning's off to the box, 2 minutes for interference. Saros has to come up with a huge save on Okposo. Overall, the penalty kill is decent enough. 12:27 of the second. Eakin's off to the box, 2 minutes for roughing. When you find Matt Duchesne putting the puck in the net for his 17th goal of the season, tying the game up at one apiece. It was a loose puck, and he found the jam after he was able to corral it. Yossi's shot pinballed all over the place. Johansson gets a stick on it, but it's finally Matt Duchesne who puts the puck in the net. And the Preds now look like they are committed and engaged and have a brand new hockey game here in the second period. 16:42. Sissons is off to the box, 2 minutes for high sticking. We'd find Skinner, notorious Nashville Predator killer, scoring his 12th goal of the season. The shot hits Skinner in the back, and much like Matt Duchesne, he finds the loose puck, he corrals it, and he's able to put it into the net before anybody else can, beating UC Saros with the finish, giving Buffalo a 2-1 lead. 19:36 of the second period. Dell picks up a minor penalty for interference. It was a body check on Tolvanen on the half wall. That's not something you see from a goaltender very often, all the way out that far, but also putting a good, solid body check. He was committed to it. He went all the way through it, and he ended up with 2 minutes in the box. Of course, he didn't have to serve that, but that would make things a little more interesting. Dell does come up with a save on Tolvanen on the power play, so the player he body checks, he now prevents from scoring, and then Dell also comes up with a save on Duchesne. We hit the end of the second period. The Preds find themselves down by a goal still, but they're out shooting Buffalo 22-16. We have a carryover of a minute 36 seconds into the third period on the Nashville Predators power play, but unfortunately, not a thing is happening. At 3:47 of the third period, McCarron's off to the box, 2 minutes for tripping. UC Saros comes up with a save on Skinner, plus the rebound jam. Sisson's great stick check prevents Buffalo from putting another puck in the net, but at 7:59, Skinner would put another puck in the net. His 13th of the season, second of the game. Yossi and Myers collide in the neutral zone. Skinner wheels and gets a partial breakaway out of it, putting the puck in the net, and the Sabres up 3-2-1. 12:02 of the third period. Jeannot drives the net a little too hard, gets himself a goalie interference penalty, trying to bring the jam and bring some energy. The penalty kill would be just fine for the Nashville Predators. Heinestroza hits the empty net at 18:46. Buffalo's got a 4-1 lead, and that is your final at Bridgestone Arena. Nashville Predators outshoot the Buffalo Sabres 30-21, but the Nashville Predators seeming listless from the start in this one. You heard John Hynes talk about it in the post game, how the Nashville Predators were unable to respond after the emotional victory that took place over the Colorado Avalanche in the previous game on Bridgestone Arena ice. Now, this game, I did not label it a trap game because John Hynes has been so good this season about remaining on message. As a matter of fact, he's been so consistent that I was shocked that I didn't hear culture game even more times yesterday leading up to the start of that game. For the Nashville Predators, this was a really bad team that they never should have lost to from the Eastern Conference, but they've done that against the Montreal Canadiens this season, and they also did one of those in Chicago against the Blackhawks. From time to time, the Nashville Predators simply do not show up. The thing is to limit these types of games. If this is a standalone event and the Nashville Predators return to action against the Boston Bruins, next the St. Louis Blues, Vancouver Canucks, Winnipeg, Detroit, and on and on and on, if they return to action the same way they did after their last very brief stint with some losing, then all will be fine. But the Nashville Predators cannot allow this type of game to creep in on any type of regular basis. A bad team from an Eastern Conference on a night when the puck seemed to go in off of Nashville Predators' legs and Norris Trophy winning defensemen are falling down in the neutral zone. It was just one of those nights. A goal disallowed. I don't think it's one of those things where you pound the table and you try to beat the team up too badly. There's not a lot of good performances in this one overall, but for the Nashville Predators, they have had a very good season. It's only their 12th regulation loss of the entire season, only their 6th home loss of the season. It's a pretty good hockey team. They're still in first place, and they'll have plenty of room and time to make this up. They'll get Buffalo one more time this season, and hopefully Skinner will not be in the lineup, because it sure seems like no matter what the Nashville Predators do and no matter where Skinner plays, he always converts against this Nashville Predators team. That was the Rebirth Sports full game recap. UC Saros was 17 out of 20 in this game, and unfortunately for UC Saros, a puck goes in off of the defenseman's leg. A Norris Trophy winning defenseman falls down at center ice, taking out his defensive partner, and there's a partial breakaway right there, and a notorious Pred killer has a big night. For UC Saros, I felt overall he had a decent performance, but I've got a starting goaltender here in the Renegades of Puck that can tell me a lot more about that. So let's go out to Nostradamus right away. You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35, or you can watch him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. Nostradamus, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Well, Preds fans, you're not going to win them all. I know it's hard to believe given the fact that the Preds have gone 12-1-1 in their last 14 games and playing somewhat of a cupcake, I guess you would call Buffalo. You still have to show up for those games, and you still have to play your game. Otherwise, you will come out on the losing end, which we discovered, of course, last night against the Buffalo Sabres, 4-1 at Bridgestone Arena. You can kind of see this coming. I said 20 seconds into the game, I audibly just yelled, "Oh gosh, here we go." Did not look good. They didn't look sharp from the get-go. Tried to get their game under them. I had the disallowed goal, of course, but that's a mental error. It wasn't a forced offside, so Sisson's goal should have counted on any other normal day, but they did jump off sides, unfortunately, for that. Maybe that could have turned the game around. You don't know, but they definitely did not have their legs under them. It was a game that they would not be proud of course, when they look at that videotape. But good news is they get right back at it tomorrow in a matinee game against Boston. UC Saros stopped 17 out of 20. I know that obviously does not look good on paper, especially considering what he's done over the last week or so with facing over 40 shots per game over the last several games for the Nashville Predators. Look, the goals that were against him, what can you do about that? You kind of throw your arms up and say, well, it's going to be one of those nights. You saw the first one, of course, Benning trying to clear the puck, goes off the inside of his right pad and goes into the back of the net. You have Philip Myers and Roman Josi colliding, leading to a breakaway by Jeff Skinner, who is obviously a known Predator killer at this point in his career. And that's what happens. Again, it could be against a cupcake team, but they didn't have their game. Like I think Mace said on the broadcast, they didn't even have their B game. They were not the same team that they were Tuesday night against the Colorado Avalanche. But you put that in the rearview mirror, you move on to Saturday matinee against the Boston Bruins. Now, Boston, of course, very good team out in the East. They have Tuukka Rask back in net. He just made his first appearance of the season Thursday against Philly in a victory 3-2. Looked very good. He's 5-1-2 in his career against the Nashville Predators, and just now getting back into action, of course, from a torn labrum that he had surgery on last July. So a 6-month recovery for Tuukka Rask. This is about the timetable they put on him to get back in action. He wanted to stay in Boston. They've certainly given him that opportunity. Very similar to his former teammate, Tim Thomas. Tim Thomas also had hip surgery at the age of 36. Rask is 34 right now. Thomas came back first season after his hip surgery, goes out and wins the Vezina Trophy at the age of 36. So just remarkable what they can do nowadays with surgeries like that, especially on goaltenders who put so much stress on their hips, moving side to side and doing the splits and everything else they do with their edge work. It's incredible you marvel at things like that. So Boston hoping for the same from Tuukka Rask the rest of this season and going forward. We'll see what happens next year with him. But again, 34 years old, torn labrum, looking good at least after one start against the Philadelphia Flyers. Again, Nashville probably going to go with UC Saros again. No reason to rest him after a very light performance on Thursday and put him back in there. The past versus the present as far as Finnish goaltenders goes. Tuukka Rask, one of the best, right up there with Pekka Rinne as far as Finnish goaltenders go. And of course, UC Saros, all-star UC Saros, I might add, going to the All-Star game this season with his performance. So there'll be Tuukka Rask versus UC Saros, Saturday matinee. Preds fans, what more could you ask for? Saturday afternoon, before you get to sitting watching NFL playoff games, you get to watch the Nashville Predators go at it against the Boston Bruins. Nashville, stay safe out there with the weather coming up. Charlie, back to you.
You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. You can watch him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. He's been the starting goaltender for the Renegades of Puck for probably 400-plus shows now. So I sure do appreciate Stick Taps. Love, respect to you, Mostradamus. Let me tell you about Strong Style Fitness. You talk about Stick Taps, love, and respect. A certified personal trainer with 150 workouts on YouTube that is totally donation-based. A certified personal trainer that believes in their work so much that they're willing to give it away just to help make you healthier. Renegades of Puck, whether you are just starting stretching, getting off the couch, or you are an expert that's been at it for a long time, Tracy and Strong Style Fitness has a workout and a plan that is catered perfectly for you. Check it out. If you don't like it, it won't cost you a penny. Strong Style Fitness can be found at strongstylefit.com, and you can also find Strong Style Fit on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Truly, Stick Taps, love, and respect for this motivated renegade. She gets in the trenches every day and helps people improve their health and their lifestyle, and it makes people happier, and it gives them an opportunity to do things they never thought they could do. So check that out, Strong Style Fitness. Sean C. Smith is in the trenches with us from ontheforecheck.com. You can find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. He's got the intel that you need to know, and he was on the front lines last night between the Nashville Preds and the Buffalo Sabres. Sean, not a lot to talk about from that game. The Nashville Preds were relatively listless and flat, but we do have a huge tilt coming up against the Boston Bruins. Talk to me about everything.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean C. Smith, and I want to talk a little bit about the loss the Predators experienced at the hands of the Buffalo Sabres. Now, look, I think going into this game, you had a lot of thoughts. A lot of people were saying it was a trap game, which it turned out to be, and a lot of people were saying that the Predators should steamroll right through the Sabres. But here's the thing. The players said before the game that you can't take any team lightly. They also said that any team can win on any given night. Both of those things are true. And a lot of people then reacted by saying, well, it looks like the Predators took the Sabres lightly. And maybe they did. But here's some other factors you need to think about. First off, the Predators have had a lot of big wins this season, and those have been identity wins. Those are wins you see happen against big teams when the Predators stick to their identity. And a concern that I've had throughout the course of the season is that when the Predators play against teams that should be easy to roll right through, you're getting a 50-50 chance at seeing the right team show up. The right team showed up against Arizona. I think we would all agree with that. but the right team didn't show up at home against Buffalo. And that's a bit of a concern. Now, when I say concern, I don't think this is going to be a problem. I think it's going to be a blip on the radar. I think it's something, you know what, it's problematic, I guess, because you had a win streak going. But realistically, what harm has been done aside from losing one game? You're going to lose some games over the course of a season. That was one of them. What's important is that you have a team that can beat big teams. What I want to see, and what I'm sure everybody wants to see, is that same team that can show up and beat these big, tough teams is a team that can show up, play hard, and beat teams like Buffalo and Arizona and the same team that lost to the Canadians earlier in the season by such a large margin. That's what you want to see happen. And we're not seeing that happen on a consistent basis. But do you remember how it wasn't very long ago that the Predators never showed up against those weaker teams? And you're starting to see, like I said, 50-50 happening. And I think that's a step in the right direction. Most importantly, if you want to look at why the Predators didn't win, it's because they didn't play to their identity. And that's exactly what John Hines said after the game. They came out, they weren't playing to their identity. They weren't winning the 50-50 puck battles. They weren't doing the things they needed to do to make sure they were setting the pace of the game. And so that led to it being up to luck to decide who was going to win. And the Sabres, Hines gave them full credit. Hey, they showed up to play. They played hard. And he never once made an excuse for the team and said they were the better team tonight. They deserved to win, and they played better than we did. And so the reality here is they got outplayed by a team that's lost a lot of games. But they obviously had a lot to prove, and they proved it. Hey, you can't take us lightly. And I don't think the Predators will again. I just hope that in the future, when the Predators come up on teams that are down with 10 wins or 7 wins or somewhere down at the bottom of the standings, that the Predators are the team that shows up and says, hey, we're real, we're legit, we're the number one team in the Central Division, and we're going to show you every night. I don't think it's a thing to worry about unless it keeps happening over and over again. But you're going to have losses. Charlie, that's all I got tonight, except I want to say, look, I'm excited about the home base freakout. I'm not a big, I like to go out kind of guy, but I'm definitely going to be there 100%. So if you want to come down and see me, I'll be there. You can argue with me if you want. I'll probably be sitting somewhere in the corner, watching my back and making sure no one can sneak up on me. Back to you, Charlie.
You can find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. He is Sean C. Smith. He's the best in the business. You can find him on a myriad of podcasts across the landscape of the Nashville Predators. You can also find him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. Read his work at ontheforecheck.com and find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. I sure do appreciate that guy for jumping in the trenches with each and every one of us. Stripe Digital Solutions helps me so much. You have seen the graphics for the home base freakout. You've seen the graphic on the wall. You've seen everything that we do here in the trenches for the Renegades of Puck. Our website, our social media, our digital plan, everything goes through Stripe Digital Solutions. Please give the stick, taps, love, and respect to Stripe Digital Solutions. You can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram, or you can go to stripedigitalsolutions.com. I know Stripe Digital Solutions can help you because Stripe Digital Solutions helps me on a daily basis. Brandy is incredible at taking my vision and making it come true. And I ask a lot of insane questions when it comes to what we are doing as far as our social media, as far as our marketing program, and all of these things. She's incredible. Work with Brandy. Brandy can help you. Stripe Digital Solutions is truly one of the best operations and best companies I've ever had the pleasure of being around and working with. Please check out Stripe Digital Solutions. Now, let me give you a couple of numbers. As unimpressed as I am with them, let me still go ahead and tell you about them. Matt Duchene did score a goal last night in this game. Roman Josi did pick up another assist. Ryan Johansson gets another point. The captain, Roman Josi, led the team with score and shots on goal with 6. And of course, when you go over to time on ice, Roman Josi is almost always going to lead the team in total time on ice, 26-48, no exception last night. And then you go up to the forward grouping, and of course, it's Mikhail Granlund skating 21:02 in time on ice in this one. Overall, the box score for this game, not very impressive. Neither was much of this game pass. Before we get out of the bunker today, I just want to talk a little bit more about this potential Bruins-Preds matchup. I truly think when you hear the cliche, styles make a fight, these teams are built very similar. They are big, they are tough, they are strong, they are aggressors. They do not sit back and wait for someone else to challenge them. I'm very excited about this game tomorrow afternoon. I think it's going to be a very good hockey game. Nashville Predators are always up for a measuring stick game. Seems like when they play the toughest opponent in the league is when they play their best hockey. When they play Montreal and Buffalo, it's a different story. So for the Nashville Predators, if they bring the jam and they bring all that sandpaper and all that grit to Boston, well, it's going to be one hell of an afternoon tilt, and I look forward to seeing it. We'll be back here in the bunker breaking it down and wrapping it up and getting you all the news, notes, and opinions that you need to keep you updated on everything with the Nashville Predators. We're just a few months into business, and today we signed one of the biggest deals in Renegades of Puck history. We cannot wait to see each and every one of you at the home base freak out. We'll be talking about that so much more coming up. For Mostradamus, for Sean C. Smith, for Brian Baston, for the Ultimate One, and of course for K-Perk. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, respect.